I'm very excited, that's for sure, but you'll hear more about that tomorrow. I'm saving my excitement video for tomorrow morning, quite frankly. However, as I've mentioned a couple of times already this week, or in the last week, the excitement is turning to nerves. So we've got the old man here who's old enough to remember when West Ham were the Thames Ironworks, quite frankly. You've obviously seen all our glorious times. Yeah, you must be looking forward to this, right?
I certainly am. I was there in the Heysel in our last European Cup Winners' Cup final. Don't remember as much about it as I should, but I do.
Tell us what you do remember.
I remember Pat Holland scoring. I remember Frank Lampard making a right Horlicks of something in the 45th minute of the first half, and we then went. Anderlecht scored. Apparently afterwards, it turned out he tore a stomach muscle, so I've got to give him some benefit for that. It was a brilliant final. Had a wonderful time over in Brussels. Arrived there on the first ferry in the morning.
The morning of the game.
Of the game, yeah, and came back. There was a massive party on the ferry on the way back, and when we arrived at Dover, everybody thought that we must have won because because everybody was just having a right old party. It was a really good time.
So you came back that night, didn't you?
Well, next morning, sort of early, overnight, early morning.
Yeah.
So
okay. Would it? Because they reckon there's going to be 20,000 fans over in Prague for this one. Do you remember their fans being over there that didn't have tickets? There must have been.
Oh yeah. The Heysel was a bigger stadium, but of course it was also Anderlecht's home stadium, so you'd expect there to be a lot of demand from locals. But I do remember we were very well represented. Some people apparently remember the stadium being very poor, and needing lots of refurbishment. But I don't. I probably had maybe the odd Heineken too many at that point.
Yeah, I know, no doubt about it at all. Okay, let's just go before we talk about the Fiorentina game. So I've mentioned it many times. I do remember the 1980 FA Cup final day because you dropped me at Nans.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you probably don't remember this. Bought me an Action Man. I think out of guilt, right? Because obviously it's not nowhere near my birthday, so I've had a few years thinking about it. I think out of guilt, and you left me at Nans with an Action Man, which I was quite happy. It wasn't just the Action Man; it was the Action Man with the motorbike and the sidecar as well.
Which you've still got.
I still play with it. No, that is. You're right. That's still at your house, isn't it? Lovely bit of kit. His eyes used to move side to side, Action Man. So anyway, I was quite pleased with it. So you palmed me off with that, left me at Nans, and I vaguely remember it being on telly. It's already important you don't confuse memories with rewatching the game, which I've done numerous times. So rewatching a game, not my memories of it. That's me watching it in retrospect. What about that day? How big? Well, I know how big it was. What was that like as an experience to go to?
Well, it was massive because we had nothing to lose. We were a second division team, or what would now be a championship team. Arsenal were flying high, but the one of the key things about that game was that John Lyall completely flummoxed the Arsenal manager because he introduced a false nine. We'd played all season with Stuart Pearson leading the line up front, and he actually withdrew. And it confused the hell out of the Arsenal defence. Willie Young, who wasn't exactly the brightest, and Frank, was it Frank McLean or Frank Staple? It's probably probably O'Leary, wasn't it? I'm guessing. Anyway, whoever the other Arsenal centre half was, they just didn't know what to do, and they kept shouting over their boss, "What should we do? Should we move forward? Should we stay back?" And they didn't really seem to know what to do with it. And John Lyall pulled off a masterstroke. He did something unpredictable, and that's the worry I have about one of the major worries I have about Lyall is Lyall doesn't pull off masterstrokes.
You mean Moyes?
Moyes, sorry. Yeah, Moyes doesn't pull off masterstrokes. He just plays the same way all the time, and he's cautious. And, to win things, you have to think a bit out of the box. But
Did you?
yeah, no, thoroughly great day. Nobody gave us a chance, and I get irritated by people saying, "Oh, the biggest upset ever was Wimbledon beating Liverpool." Wimbledon were sixth in the Division One. We were fourth in the second division when we beat Arsenal. So that was a much bigger shock. I know we had some big players, Brooking, Devonshire, etc. But to my way of thinking, it was a much bigger shock, as was Sunderland beating Leeds and Southampton beating Man United.
Well, obviously, we were both. Sorry, we were both at the 2006 final, weren't we?
Yeah, I still haven't forgiven Scaloni.
No, I don't think any have. So obviously this is our biggest game since. A lot of people saying it's our biggest game since 1980. Of course, that was the victory. It's actually our biggest, in my opinion, our biggest game since then, isn't it? 2006, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, an FA Cup to me is as big as any European final apart from the Champions League. I think it outranks the conference final, and it's probably on a par with the one we should have got into last year.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is, you get the day out of Wembley, and so many fans can go. And I think with us obviously being a London-based club, you know that because the owners put it on the badge. But with us being a London-based club,
I'd forgotten if they hadn't done that. I wouldn't remember.
No, you'd think, where are we based? You wouldn't be able to find. It's like a sat nav, that badge, isn't it? You wouldn't be able to find your way around. So I think that's the thing. If you get to that final, you can have 30,000 fans inside that stadium. It'd certainly be something special. I think, but from a point of view of obviously the game's changed in as much as those days that you were talking about, there wasn't exposure to the foreign leagues that you had now. So you had to sort of wait for a World Cup to see some of these fantastic European and South American players and stuff like that. Now you see them sort of every week in the Champions League and whatnot. So I do think it's good for our profile as a club to be seen continentally, and for bringing in players to be seen to be doing well in Europe. What are you? How are you feeling about the game? Do you know much about Fiorentina? I don't. Tell us anything you don't know.
I know nothing about Fiorentina apart from that they're Italian, and I'm guessing they're based in Florence.
They are indeed. They're very attacking. They're a very attacking team. I don't know if you know that.
Well, that kind of goes against the Italian way of playing, but let's see how it goes. Apparently, it's very even Stevens. The bookies, I think, have got us very slight favourites, but it could go either way, and I just hope that it goes our way.
You going down a cricket club?
I'm going down the cricket club with your two youngest nephews, and we'll watch the entire game. They'll probably be quite tired by the end of the day, but they're really excited about it, as am I.
Well, you can't have too many Heinekens that evening if you've got to drive them home. That's for sure. You're excited, nervous, hopeful.
I'm more excited than nervous. I think we've got the players to compete. We have done well in Europe this year and last year. How many defeats have we had across 20 odd games? 2.
Yeah, no, not many.
Yeah, 2, 3. It's and this year, we've hardly conceded a goal. We've done really well, and there's no reason to suggest we shouldn't do the same again.
Go on, give us a little prediction or something. Give us a goal score or something juicy.
Well, it's set up for Soufal to score his first ever goal for West Ham.
I like it. Oh, that's a saucy one. Yeah. Okay.
So that's why I'd like to happen. I'd like to see us win 1-0 and Soufal score the winner. And if it was laid on by Souček or Rice, even better.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. Yeah. Yeah, I'd want more than a 1-0. I'm greedy, to be fair. I want to be doing I want to be doing a conga and singing with 15 minutes to go because we're 3-0 up.
Don't we
You know
all?
what I mean?
But you
Yeah.
know, finals, they're typically they're nervy affairs, aren't they? And you know, Moyes is going to be cautious. So you know, we have to allow for that. But you know, we seem to be lucky, touch wood, with injuries. We can put out more or less a fully fit side, although you know some people will be struggling a little bit. Zuma's always struggling, for instance. But yeah, I think we're up for it, and I'm very hopeful.
Excellent. Well, listen, enjoy yourself tomorrow night. Excuse me if I don't reply to the family WhatsApp West Ham group chat. I'll probably be busy. And you heard it here first. 1-0, West Ham, Vladimir Soufal goal.